Next Fix podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Penley, and today we're diving into the subject of addiction recovery once again, and I have a very special person on with us today. His name is Massimo. He's got big things on the horizon for the addiction recovery community. He's a experienced individual when it comes to hardship, struggles, and traction in addiction and recovery. Massimo, it's fantastic to see you.
Hey, thank you so much, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to your audience. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, we're gonna let this thing rip, man. So Massimo, what I always like to ask my guests is like, where did the train fall off the tracks, brother? We want to know, what happened, man. We want to know the spill the tea, brother. Where did things go rough?
Well, it's kind of one of these things where it's crazy. I managed to keep things going for a lot longer than I think most people would have been able to. So, I was diagnosed as bipolar in college, and I thought that the best thing to do was, I'll just start drinking because that'll take care of it,
Problem solved.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need any medication. Give me a beer. And so that's how it all began. And that would always tampen off the whole manic episodes that I would get. And over time, it just became, I just drink more. And then it became harder liquors, etc. But I all in all, I had a successful background. I formed a couple companies that were profitable, sold, moved on to something else, and things were going relatively quite well. I ended up in Los Angeles working in the entertainment business in the early aughts. And that's when things really started picking up, because then I added the cocaine sidecar, as I always call it. It's readily available out there, and it made me able to do even more things, because I could stay up longer. I used it as I can drink all this, and if I do this, I can stay up longer. Great,
Right. Stimulants and depressants in one delivery system, right? It's a framework for the best success, right? So
yeah. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? So I ended up getting married and moved back to the Kansas City area, and I was running a printing company, and I kind of just reached a point where I was drinking all the time and looked up and realized, I'm drinking almost a handle of Jack Daniels every day.
Gotcha. Yeah. When you said all the time, I'm imagining, your eyes open.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I would get up in the middle of the night and have a shot.
Yeah.
That's how bad it got. I would start, I'd get the DTs in the middle of the day and have to reach for the bottle of Jack Daniels that was underneath my desk at work.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And nobody knew, right? You had them all fooled.
Well,
yeah, right.
I tell you, the interesting thing is that a lot of people didn't realize it was as bad as it was until I ended up homeless. They really, and some people didn't even realize how bad it truly was until I wrote my book. And that's when, it was just really an eye opener for a lot of people. So, because I was able to disguise it. So the wheels pretty much completely came off in 2012. I got divorced. My business went under. The IRS was after me. And, it was just add every possible thing that you could add here. But somehow I continued to make just enough money to drink my butt off, use blow, keep my house, but I had mortgaged my house, so that was going to eventually be a problem. So then the wheels just completely fell off in December of 2014. That's when I ended up on the streets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in my experience, it's like, looking back, it's like all the signs were there, but when you're in the trenches, your mind is so damn good at this is totally good. We're killing it. We're doing fantastic here. It's amazing the mental gymnastics to fool you. So here you are, but now what can't really be denied, and I think you and I share this, right? It's like objectively, it's bad, right? So rock bottom is now visited you on your doorstep and took your doorstep away. You have no doorstep. You're in
No
the
doorstep.
streets.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm in the streets. The only possession I really have at that point is my car.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I guess I was lucky to have that. You know,
Right,
it provided some shelter, but gas is expensive.
Right.
So I got creative on the streets. I love telling this story. So I decided that I could make some extra money by running a homeless taxi service. And I started running people around town in my car, and they'd pay me $5 and I'd run them between quick trip gas stations in Kansas City. And I had this regular stop at certain times of the day, and all they would do is come and give me $5 at the pump. They get in, they could bring one bag, and I'd take them like to the next quick trip or the next, you know, they could stay on as long as they wanted to get where they wanted to go. And I made like the circular route of the city. so
Massimo, I'm imagining you're still drinking while you're driving, right? Like,
oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. You just like, you're just.
Why wouldn't I?
It's because I was like, well, he could have done Uber. I'm like, well, I think they would have caught on. You know, like 2-star rating, horribly stinks like Jack Daniels.
Hey,
okay.
Hey, you know what? All of my passengers loved it.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
I catered to my audience.
It's true. Yeah. The homeless community, they're not going to pick up on the odors.
No.
You know, you're going to be all right, you know?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Right on. So you're homeless now. Okay. Now what I still want to know is that the bottom? Do we start headed the other direction yet, or what else do we got going?
No, I really hadn't hit the bottom yet because I was still being creative. I'm like, yeah, sure, I can just run this deal for a while. I can make some extra money here and there, and I'll be fine. I'm kind of enjoying living on the streets, if you can imagine such a thing. But it's only because I was so entrenched in my addiction that I was just so determined to be drunk all the time, and the cocaine was gone because you can't afford that once you're homeless, but you still can afford. And Jack Daniels became vodka because Jack Daniels was too expensive. That was like, oh man, maybe I can afford Jack next week, you know? But
right.
You're not drinking top shelf. You're drinking like the
plastic
cheapest.
Bottle.
Yes.
Yeah. Plastic bottle. You know, if you can get down to that $7 range, which is possible. So I mean, if anybody's, you know, it doesn't cost much to completely destroy yourself when it comes to grain alcohols. I mean. Yeah, the frills of the LA cocaine is out the window, but you know you still got some liquor store hooch, and so here we are. But you're still being creative, right? And
I hadn't lost that. The Hollywood Hills parties are gone, but here I am out in the streets. So just before I became homeless. I'm going to introduce a character into this story because it's very relevant in my overall why I'm doing what I'm doing today. I took a trip to Destin, Florida with a group of friends in March of 2014. And I met a girl on the beach, Samantha Thomas. And we were just like an instantaneous match. It was that she was my person. And I thought, you know, I'm going to lose this girl once I became homeless, but something crazy happened. I didn't always have a phone. We started writing letters. She was living in Alabama, going to college, and I was living on the streets of Kansas City and getting letters at a P.O. box. And she would encourage me. She was like, what are you thinking every time you take a drink? I want you to write down and basically write this in a so I can like look at it and try to give you advice. And basically what she was doing is like cognitive behavioral therapy with me, but via mail, if you can imagine such a thing, right?
Does she have a background in that, or are you just saying?
She was studying psychology.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And ultimately ended up in med school. And so this was very helpful. And I started really like looking at all of this. But when it really came to a head was in August of that year, I got really drunk and I put my car into a ditch. Actually, I put the rear end of it in a ditch because I was making a 3-point turn on a gravel road because, you know, that's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my blood alcohol was 0.429.
Ooh, man.
I'm lucky I was even walking. I mean, I nearly passed the field sobriety test in terms of motor
Oh,
skill, if you can
yeah.
even imagine that. But I couldn't pass anything verbally.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just hand gestures. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up, they took me to the hospital to take a blood draw because basically the field equipment wouldn't register. I was that drunk.
Wow.
And then they just kind of discarded me into this rehab facility and to sober up. And I had been such a hard drinker for so long that anything under maybe like 0.1, 0.2, I would just like start shaking uncontrollably.
Right.
And
Right.
I ended up having 3 massive seizures that night. And the last one, I flatlined for 6 minutes and 18 seconds.
Holy shit, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So there, you're in this rehab. Are you under, like, what's the observation look like? Is it like a mental hospital? Like there's like, or is it just like a rehab where they give you a cot and they're like, all right, buddy, sweat it out? Like,
Yeah, that's basically what it was. I mean, the police literally just dropped me off here, and
got
said,
it. Got it. So you weren't you're not in a hospital. So
no, I wasn't. But they took me to the hospital in an ambulance after the first seizure. I had one more seizure in the ambulance. And then the third seizure, about an hour after I was in the hospital, I had a near-death experience, which was like just mind-blowing in and of itself. That was an amazing experience.
Real quick, Massimo, I think that maybe not everybody knows this. I'm almost certain you know this, but alcohol is one of the very few drugs. It will kill you if
Yes.
your body is accustomed to a certain intake. And like Massimo was saying, like if he got down to the 0.12 levels, right? So if he decreased his intake, he ran the risk of having a seizure and dying. And so I think a lot of people that like some of the harder drugs, the cocaine, you'll get a headache, you'll be irritable, you don't die, right? You don't die. Alcohol can kill you. It can kill you if you stop it abruptly. Right? So all right. So carry on, brother. Yeah. So
Yes, and I always caution the same thing. Thank you, Ryan, for pointing that out to anybody who's watching or listening, because it's so important that if you do stop, if you drink as much as I was, you do it under the care of a physician, because it's just you're playing with fire and you could end up dead.
yeah.
So anyhow, I had a near-death experience. I talked to my maternal grandfather, told me that I had a lot more to do, and he suggested that I go back, and so I turned around. He told me just to look over my right shoulder, and I'd be back in my body, and I was, and it was.
Wait,
it
hold
was
on
wild.
a second, Massimo. So that was happening during your near-death experience. That was your maternal grandfather, not physically.
No,
but
not physically.
Yeah.
He passed away in 2000. So yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
okay.
yeah, it was a wild experience, talking, and I mean, I don't really know. I saw the white light, and it's hard to relate to and say for sure, but I can tell you what, it renewed my faith in God, and brought me back to my faith.
Well, that's a win.
Yeah, so I think there was a big win there. But at the same time, it's interesting. Memories, what's going on in your brain at that time. I mean, there's a lot we don't know about the brain, but I mean, it renewed my faith that there's, my grandpa told me he'd be there when I came back in a long time from now. And that made me feel good. And it made me feel like I was going to be able to get over whatever I was fighting. And so the fight from that moment forward, I started fighting my way out.
Nice. I love that. Oh
Yeah.
man. Huge.
So, but it wasn't the end, this is the thing for everybody that really struggles. So I go from there, and then 3 weeks later I'm drunk again. And so I ended up in like kind of this oscillating back and forth. I'd go a couple weeks, I'd be sober. I'd get myself, I started like cleaning at night for, this janitorial company, because I couldn't really get a job yet. I wasn't stable enough to like go apply for a job. And so I figured this is a good way. I'll just work for these people and get paid cash, and maybe I can get myself stable. That was a bit of a fight, but Samantha was still on the side here, and I had a phone now, so I was able to talk to her, and she was like really encouraging me. It's like, you can do this. You just have to really stick through it. And so in March of 2015, March 23rd, that's my sobriety date of 2015, I was sober, and I've been sober every day since. Yeah, it's been an amazing journey since then.
Yeah, and I think that maybe people that haven't like the way you just said it, right? Like it's like a date, and then ever since, and there you have it, and that's the sober date. And then I think, and including myself, like when I'm speaking about it, it comes across, and I think people that don't understand believe that it's instantaneous. They believe because it's this date, they think it was like all the way, it's like totally fucked up, and then ding, and the light switches, and then boom, and everything's smooth sailing. It's not quite that easy. And so, but nonetheless, man, I applaud you on that. And that's an amazing story. It's pretty kick-ass, man. So all right. So yeah, you're sober. You've been sober since 2015, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. So what do we got? How long is that? What do we got here?
Oh, we got
math for me.
Oh, well, let's see here. No, wait, that's 2016. Sorry. I was like, wait a second. That's not the right year. No, March 23rd of 2016.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Massimo and Ryan Penley, we're not mathematicians. It's
8 years. It's 8 years, I swear.
We have not been drinking today.
Only water.
Yeah. So, all right. So you're sober. I want to know what it looks like in your life these days, man. Like what's going on currently? Of course, we want to know about the love interest. We want to know what's going on with her. What's the deal?
Yeah. So I think that it's really kind of an interesting story to tell you the accomplishment that was made in my professional life from the moment I got sober. So I took a job at Kubota Tractor as in a warehouse as an order picker, like the lowest level possible job you could get in a big company. And I was making $10.50 an hour. I was working second shift. I showed up every day. I just kept my head down. I had a few things to focus on, like 3 DUIs that I had gotten while I was, homeless. Right. And so, yeah, all of them were non-moving DUIs, by the way, including that one with my car.
Ever. Worst Uber
exactly.
ever.
Do not ride with me. And so in the next 3 years, I got 8 promotions and ended up becoming the general manager of their largest global facility.
Global facility.
Largest global facility. Yes. And that is a testament to being able to restore yourself to where you once were. I
would agree. That is fantastic. That's what you call progress. I mean, 8 promotions in 3 years, correct?
Yep.
I mean, you're just knocking them down every few months. It's like, how many reviews did you get? You're like, I'm ready for a review. You're like, yep.
Well, a lot of them just happens. Like this person left. All right, it's there, but you have to perform. And all I did was walk in, and I did what most people would not do. I never talked about what I had done in my past, which had been quite successful. I didn't talk about the fact I had owned companies or I had 100 people work for me in my past. I didn't say anything like that. I just went into work every day and did the job better than anyone else. And they're like, hey, this guy, and then eventually it became, he's the guy. And I was able to really achieve so much, that I ended up helping design other facilities in other countries. So it really, I took that all the way to the limit, and it was just amazing. It was a great experience.
I think it's super amazing. And there's a couple of things that I noticed. Like one, how much can be achieved when you just get rid of the goddamn monkey wrench. You've got this, it's like you keep picking up this bottle, you keep picking up this bag or whatever you're doing. And I'm speaking to the audience here, maybe anybody that knows somebody. It's like, you just, you're intentionally screwing up the gears that make you work. And then it's just like, if you pull that thing out, it's outrageous, especially if you take it at its mind and you put it towards something good. It's like, man, you set an addict free on a real goal that they can get behind. It's going to be done, because the same mental gymnastics that got you into the drunk Uber business, that same creativity is now applied with a clear mind. And so, what happens? The only thing that can happen is success. Right now, there's another prong that I noticed, is that you've become future oriented. You're not bringing up the past. And I believe wholeheartedly in that. I believe wholeheartedly in just kind of just, okay, there's traumas. And with me personally, it's like, that's my mother and these types of things. It's like, okay, I can, there's truth there. I understand. But what can I really do about that, right? So typically for me, and what I'm hearing from you, is that like, it's like, well, what the hell am I going to bring that up for? That's a sunk cost. That's behind me. I can benefit a lot more from just thinking about what to do next. And you're just putting one foot in front of the other, showing up every day, right? So, I mean, wait, where are you at now, though? You're not working for Kubota now? Or
no,
are you?
no,
Okay.
no, I'm not. I left Kubota in, let's see here, 2021. So Samantha and I were still talking at this point, and it was sometime late in 2016. So I'm not even a year sober. And near the end of the year, I'm just looking around. I've been to AA meetings, and I'm going through the motions, exactly like you said, left foot, right foot. It's just, but life has become so mundane, and I'm starting to think to myself, is this it? Is this all life is? This is pretty boring. But I tell you what, this is better than it was, a few months ago. So I was able to look back and say, well, I'm still not going to go back and drink. So I had learned my lesson, but at the same time, I was like, I need fulfillment internally. Like, how am I going to get that? And so I sat down. This is New Year's Eve in 2016, going into 17. And I was like, you know what? I wonder if I could do like a continuous improvement program on myself, like take manufacturing philosophies and basically go through and like improve one thing at a time on myself, and go back and like reevaluate myself, fix this thing, go back, check it. Okay. It's like and that was exactly what I did. So I took philosophy I'd learned in manufacturing working at Kubota, and I applied it to myself. And that's how I created the S.O.B.E.R method.
So are you familiar with the Kaizen method? The Kaizen method. The Kaizen method. And I actually write about it in my book. But nonetheless, I want to hear more about the S.O.B.E.R method, because that's your method. And so yes. I want to hear about that.
Yeah. So S.O.B.E.R stands for Stoic, Observe, Behavior, Execute, and Restore. And like I just mentioned, it goes in this continuous improvement cycle. So I ground everything in Stoicism, because one thing I found in AA is that a lot of people were turned off by the religious bent of the that comes across. And I didn't really want to be off-putting in any way. And I found that Stoic philosophy at the end of the day is pretty common if you look at all religions. They're all kind of can boil down into the Stoic philosophies, right? And so this is great. So that's what I use as that first analysis point. And so if you were to take like Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, and you would just pick a verse in it, and you would read that verse and then think about how it applies to you, and then what you could do in your life to change that. So this is when you move into the O step, and you look at your own behavior in the lens of whatever this philosophy is, and how am I reacting in this way? Okay.
So O is for your
you're
own
observing
behavior.
your own behavior.
Observing.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So you're like taking a look at how am I actually reacting to this today, and so you're taking a look at all of that, and then once you understand how you react currently, you move into the B step, which is behavior, and this is your behavior remapping. This is like actually doing like cognitive behavior therapy type of stuff, and going through behavior chains, and really taking a look at like, if I do this is my normal reaction, I should do this instead. And once you figure out how you're going to react in certain situations, then you move to execute. You're going to test it out. Okay. I'm going to go purposely put myself in a situation that is uncomfortable to me, which a lot of people probably wouldn't be willing to do. But it's important to do this because you never know when you're going to be in those situations. So you should put yourself in that situation to test to make sure you're going to react without going for, alcohol, drugs, whatever your vice is, right? Food is a vice to a lot of people too. And that's probably one of the hardest addictions in my theory, because we all need to eat. So anyway, in execute, you're actually testing this out. You're executing your idea on how you're going to correct your behavior. If it works, fantastic. All right. Now you can move on to step R. But if it doesn't, guess what? It's like, lose a turn, go back to step O. What went wrong? Okay, this went wrong. Why did I react that way? Okay, maybe I should make this adjustment, and you're back again, execute. And you go through that until you can perfect and deal with the situation. And once you do, then you move into R. And R is that kind of atypical restore step where you're restoring yourself. And that is by the biggest thing that I suggest in this step is, how does the behavior you just corrected, how did that impact somebody negatively in your past? Then seek those people out and try to, make amends the best that you can. I mean, that's the kind of the typical making amends step that you have in the 12-step program. And also I encourage in the restore step to get into volunteering and giving back. And eventually, if you're strong enough, to mentor others in their own, sobriety journeys. Then you go back to S, you pick something new to work on, and then you go through the process again. I currently am on my 35th round through the S.O.B.E.R method, and it's phenomenal. And every time that I go through, I feel like I get even stronger.
Right. So you're doing iterations, right?
Yes.
And,
exactly.
Man, I love that. And I think when you're saying R, I'm thinking return, I'm thinking resolve. I'm just going through words that probably all fit pretty darn well. I'm not trying to tell you what to name your system, but now listen, hey, but I tell you what, Massimo, I am a huge Stoicism believer, and it helped me lead into my Christianity. So
interesting.
The belief part of my journey, what I found in Stoicism was that it's super applicable. It's really boots to ground philosophy. It's super simple. Like the linchpin of all of it is really like, is this in my control or not in my control? And that also aligns with some of the 12-step program, which I didn't quite use that, right? But I applied tons of Stoic beliefs into my own life. I still do. It makes sense. Some of the other philosophies, like Eastern philosophies, they're hard. I feel like they're hard to grasp. They're esoteric.
They're more complicated. They're a little bit more kind of nebulous. You can't quite put your hand on them. Like Stoicism's like very grounded. I mean, like you just feel like, yeah, I understand this.
It's stuff you can act on. You can just when you put it into a system like your S.O.B.E.R method, right? It makes total sense to me because it gives you the first step, which you can apply, and it just any pragmatic person it helps because it helped me, and I can see how, especially if you have gone through that many iterations of this system, and I mean. And that's a lot, by the way, anybody that's listening. I mean, to run your own system that many times through, it works, right? It works. This guy's proof that it does. Hey, man, but like, I want to know more about the girl. What's going on? Like,
Yeah, well, yeah, everyone wants to know about the girl. So, Samantha was in med school at the University of South Alabama, and on August 1st of 2020, she was tragically murdered by a drunk driver.
Wow.
And that knocked the wind out of my sails quite a bit. Because it's really the best way I can describe it. It's like dark irony. Here's the person who saved me from drunkenness is now killed by a drunk driver. And it just was really tough. And she was, of course, encouraging me to write about my method, and we had kind of joked that we'd co-author a book after she graduated from med school, and so it would be something that we would continue working on together. And she was a year away from graduating, so I just I took action. I started writing, and the book my first book got released last March. I released it actually on March 23rd of last year. So it was on my sober anniversary date, 7 years. And I had, in April last year, I went to testify at the sentencing at her trial. And that was tough. That was really hard. But to look the guy in the eye and just like stare him down, and it's like, you took somebody that meant so much to not just me, but so many other people, and you think about how many lives a good doctor would have touched in her lifetime. That would have been amazing as well.
Let me ask you a tricky question, man. And I'm not trying to, is there a part of you that looks at that guy and knows that it could have been you?
Yes.
Yes, I know it could have been me. I know for a fact that there are countless times that I could have been in a similar scenario, and for whatever reason, I wasn't. But now I know you're angry at this person, and he has taken away something. But is there an element of you that has like, damn, like, look at this person, and I don't know, man. I don't even know what kind of an answer I expect. It's a thought,
I actually have thought about it. I thought about it at the time. I thought about times where we were in a car together, and I was, even, not sober, driving with her as my passenger, and I could have done the same thing to her. And I've thought about that. I mean, it's just one of those really. I am so lucky that, well, I really believe that I have a purpose. I believe God kept me here on earth to do something. And I really, once she was taken, it became crystal clear that I had to dedicate the rest of my life to helping others get sober, because the life is so much greater and so much more fulfilling when you find the other side. It just is.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. For you and myself, I feel it wasn't super clear. People had said, like, loosely, "Oh, you're here for a reason. You're here for a reason." But I believe wholeheartedly. The best part about this is that I'm telling you, you're here for a reason. You're mentioning that you're here for a reason, but you have some reasons, right? Like you are putting boots to ground, and you're making serious moves and efforts to do exactly what I think she wants you to do, and your grandfather. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So continue, man. I want to know more. I guess, I wanted to hear the happily ever after love story, and I got kicked right in the stomach. So, but yeah, man. So it didn't work out. There wasn't a white picket fence, but what are you doing instead of that ending?
Well, you know what? One of the silver linings in that is that I'm very close with her parents, and that's a good, for me, that's a good silver lining. And I have their support on everything I'm doing, and that means the world to me. And that's as much as I can do to honor her legacy, and so that's what I'm going to keep doing. But to shift gears, so I came out. I wrote a second book that like really dug into just the method. So the first book was like my memoir. It talks about all the crazy stuff I did. I think you've got a title yourself that's kind of the same thing. Yeah. And then the end of my first book is just like, this is kind of what I did. But it really wasn't with much seriousness. Like, okay, I'm going to really truly get out here, boots on the ground, and talk about sober method nonstop. So I wrote a second book, which is just the method. That's all it is. It's just like it's like the big book, it's the, how you do it. I got out, I've obviously tried to get the word out as much as I can, talks, podcasts, so on and so forth. But then I got to thinking, you know what? I need to go broad. I need to really find a way to make a difference and put this in the palm of everyone's hands. And so what I'm doing and what I'm launching here on July 4th, we're all going to declare our independence from substances because I'm launching the S.O.B.E.R app.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyone who is here, you can obviously will be able to get the S.O.B.E.R app on your device, Google or your iPhone. And if you want to get on the wait list, you can go out to sobermethod.org and put yourself on there. So it's what this is going to be and bring to it is some real in-depth dives into the process and walking you through with workbooks and the like that are all filled out online on your phone. So it takes it with you. Now, one of the things I have always encouraged is the best thing to do is actually like pick up a piece of paper and pencil, because you really get that tactile work in working through things. But I also understand the reality of today's world.
Yeah.
And the best way to really do this is to put it in your hand, because most people always have their phone, and it's almost its own separate addiction, which probably needs to be looked at on some level. But really, it goes in that work, but also we're talking virtual like meetings, and I'm going to be hosting smaller meetings and provide even the opportunity for people to have one-on-one coaching with me, or one to very small group coaching, to help people really cross through and find success and support each other.
Right. Community
is where it's at. So I'm looking to build this sober community that we all can get together and help each other. And one thing that I do want to mention about my method, and I think that you kind of may subscribe to the same belief, is that one of the challenges, I think, is that so often we're told you just got to stop. You got to quit cold turkey. You got to stop right now, quit smoking, quit drinking, quit doing whatever. And I don't think that that's realistic. And I think that the best way, because you want to pull the substance from yourself, but not do anything to correct who you are or anything that is underlying the challenges, the darkness within you. Mm-hmm. You have to work through to bring the light back into your life. And as that light comes into your life, it should be much easier to decline the substances. And so if you work yourself in kind of like this scale where as you drink less and you get better, the less alcohol or drugs you will require. And then if you're in a community, you can all be supporting and encouraging that type of thing. Hey, I only had 3 beers last week. Good for you. That's the type of success stories that I want to be encouraging on the platform, as opposed to any sense of shame for not being able to keep up. I had a slip up. I want slip ups to be like, okay, what happened? Let's observe what happened. Okay, how should you have reacted to that? And it's a supportive environment rather than a destructive one, if that makes any sense.
And so this is sobermethod.org, right? That's the best way to find out more about it. And okay, so I download the app and I go in, and I'm welcomed, and then right away you're plugged in with other users, mentors / coaches, yourself, in addition to I imagine resources. And now say I'm triggered, and I have your app. Can I hop on and can I get somebody? The idea is that I'm going to have somebody to reach out to.
Right. The idea is as the community grows, there's going to be someone there to reach out to. I mean, in the beginnings, it's obviously I'm going to be answering an awful lot of individual, but as the community grows, then we'll all be able to help and support one another. It's like 24/7 having your mentor available to you. It's like, oh, you can do this. You got this, walk away from whatever you're doing right now. That's where I'm hoping to grow this to.
Yeah. And I'm behind that, and I have a lot of faith that it works, because I feel like a lot of people who understand, and they reach out, and then you reach out to them, they're most times, I think people are just so willing to just pay it forward immediately.
Yes.
Like they're like, oh man, he was there for me, and that was pretty cool. and then maybe if that opportunity comes for them to be there, and so say there's like some kind of a light or something, forgive me for not knowing exactly what the layout of the app is, but it's like if there's active members, and then kind of like a Facebook Messenger or something, it's like, oh, there's somebody on the app now, there they are, maybe I'll see what they're doing, like, or, say hi and tell them what's going on with me, and say, it's an immediate place to have connection. That sounds outstanding. Now, what's it look like to join up? What's required? Like all just personal information, email? Is there a fee? Or what does it look like?
It's just going to be personal information to join at the entry level. So out of the gate, you get access to the community no matter what. So, and then it's going to be a 3-tiered system, and each level provides greater access to directly working with me. That's really that's the pay.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, I mean, because a lot of times I know that that's what's going to give you strength in the numbers, because you're one person, and it can be tough to be. You can get spread thin quick. I know the feeling. It's like, man, hey, I want to do all this, but I got so many minutes in the day, or but it's still it's a noble cause, super exciting, and so it's July 4th.
Yes, right? July 4th. Yeah. Yes.
So all right, I want the whole bundle. Like, tell me. So we got the 2 books. Tell me the titles.
Flavors of Confidence is the first book, and the second book is called Flavors of Confidence: S.O.B.E.R Method.
S.O.B.E.R Method. Okay. Yep. And then that's sobermethod.org. That's a place to come and find you.
That's correct.
You got a book? Hey, let me see. You got a book to hold up? Let me see. Here we go. I love it. The plug. There it is. Hey, man.
And I'm on all socials at S.O.B.E.R Method.
So all socials at S.O.B.E.R Method. Now, just real quickly to go over this math, because I published my book. I did it. I did in like 5 months self-published. You put out 2 books. It's been how long since you put out both those books? That seems really fast.
I put them both out last year. So this book came out in March, and then this book came out October 31st. This was a hard like
push.
From writing a book. That was a hard push. But I thought it was so important to get that out as quickly as possible. Because once I got traction from basically the memoir and everything, people were starting to ask questions like, I want to understand more. And I was like, oh man, I need to get something out that actually tells them how to do it in more detail.
Right.
Because it was overwhelming me answering people that were hitting me up on social media. I was like, so that's why I got the second book out so quick.
Nice. Okay. All right, man. Well, listen, I think that your story is exactly what people that maybe they're in the trenches, they're fighting day by day, or they've got a little bit of sobriety under their belt, they got a little bit of time off the booze, off the drugs, and they're thinking about what may come next. Here's some options. Start an app, write a book. If you think that you can't, you're looking at 2 guys who did, right? So it's like you'd be surprised, like I said, if you just get rid of that monkey wrench that's slowing you down, lay off the sauce, save a few bucks, read another book, write your own. These are all magnificent things, and Massimo's, he's proof of the possibilities that will all come to you. If we're all on the same team, we're all in the same trajectory. Massimo, I want to thank you, brother. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your transparency, man. Sorry for your loss. But like you mentioned, there's silver linings there, and then you are wholeheartedly taking advantage of those silver linings. You're doing honor to all those people that miss you, and they'll see you soon, right? So again, brother, I really, really, really appreciate you coming on. Everybody go and support this man. He's doing good things out there. He's fighting the good fight. This is Next Fix. Ryan Penley. Until next time.